So let me introduce you to this idea of model groups and how these are all working as modules. So under my head here, let me slide over a little bit. There's a thing called groups down here, and there's ultimately model groups. So if I if I open up the model group here and bring it up, you can see I've created a whole bunch of different elements. And some of these are groups of groups. So if it has a plus in front of it, for instance, I'll do facade 1. It's the facade 1 plus the base frame. So if I was to come onto the screen here and select this, it is both of those elements contained. So it says F1, the model group F1 plus BF. And if I tab, I can just get what would be the base frame. And if I come to the front and tab on that, that should show up as, let me wait for the label to show up here. Hold on a minute. That is just facade 2. So it is a group of facade 2 plus the base frame. Same thing with this, facade 1 plus the base frame. And this one is facade 1 plus 3 facade 1s plus 3 base frames. But that's only going to show up, if I was to click over here, that's only going to show up as a base frame and a facade. The multiples don't matter. That's just the two grouping components that are inside of the group. Okay, so let's go ahead now and just make up one of these as a new one. So I'm going to just roll way out here until we can find a clear space to work at. I'm going to move over here. And I'm going to go ahead and drag our base frame onto the screen. So I just have to find it. So base frame, if I grab it, I can just grab it and pull it out into space here. And I'll place it. It is, so I'll click off of that now. That's on level 1. And we're going to go ahead now and add some facade to it. So I'm going to go to the site view, and then I'm just going to slide over to it. And I'm going to go ahead and create a wall, an architectural wall. And I'll zoom in here really close so we know where we're going to actually create it here. And actually that's I started with a curtain wall. I'd rather start with a wall of let's just start with something thick. Let's do retaining concrete, and we'll use the finish face. Oops, I wanted the finish face exterior, and I'll start at zooming in right to that endpoint. I'm going in the wrong direction, so I'm going to just hit the space bar, come over here, and now I have, you can see where it clicks on that end, I have exactly 8 feet. And it's at level 1, so if I click on this, but it's unconnected, and we know we want its height to be 11 feet. That's the module, so I'm just going to hit apply on that. And we'll look at that from the south elevation. Let me just zoom out and find it here. And so we could do this a bunch of different ways. Obviously, you can see that connects to the top there. We could also do this so that if I was to grab this might be a better way for you to work with it. This is your choice. You can do a base offset of, let's say, I don't know if that's -1.4. Let me try that just to give you, I think you'll understand when you see what I do here. Looks like it's more than that. It might be 1.8. Yeah, so that now brings that into that justification with our, so this is kind of like a spandrel element. And if I double click in here, we can go ahead and edit this. So let's create a void space in it. As if we were making a new facade here, right? All right, let's go back and look at this from a 3D view. And then we have this element, and I'm going to hold down, and actually I'll make that into a model group. So I'm going to go create a model group. I'll call that facade 3. Click OK. And now you'll notice that this has an orientation with it. And actually I don't like the way that's showing. What I wanted to do is bring everything into alignment so that all of our elements will always come together, or come together in the right place. So I'm going to move that origin right there. It's not absolutely critical, but you'll help to understand when you try to place other elements later on what issues you might have. Because if I was to click on this one, you'll notice that it also has that origin right there. Okay, so that was a little side detour. So we've got model group facade 3, and then I'm going to hold down the control key and multiple select this so that I have 2 model groups. And then I'm going to make a new model group now. And that's going to be F3 plus base frame. Okay, so now I'm really ready to go. I could actually then at any time separate, substitute those out. And you'll notice there's a little bit of a problem here with the orientation. I'm not exactly sure whether I used different orientations when I did this the first time. They're all sitting back a little further. So hopefully, you can see here's that origin here on this one of the base frames. This may be a different element that I imported. I don't know what's going on there. Let's go, I'm going to just correct that right away. I'm going to figure out what's going on here. There's that origin up there. I'm going to drag that down to here. I'm going to try and get in really close here so I can get this really accurate. All right, and then let's see. Let's go back to 3D. Let me see if I substitute this, if they'll stay in alignment with each other. And yes, they did. Now they'll stay in alignment with each other. So I'm going to go to base frame 3. It's just an important concept with these model groups to get that origin point the same with all your elements. All right, so now we have our base frame 3, our facade 3 with base frame. And now the only other technique is how are we going to get these elements aligned and stacked with each other. And what I want to caution you against is actually not moving them vertically, but actually just assigning them to different levels. And they seem to work very well that way. I don't know if I move this up one story, if I'm going to have a problem or not. Let's see if I go unconstrained and go up 11 feet. Let's see what will happen now. If I click on this, it says it's at level 3. So that's actually fine because this one is at level 2. There's no offset to it. So that might be a fine technique in order to move up. The other way is to copy them over and then move them up to levels and then use the align tool. But if this works, this is fine. What you don't want to do is develop an offset. That'll really kind of throw a monkey wrench in things. So here the whole goal is unconstrain it. Make sure you move up that full 11 feet, which is our module. And I don't have this on moldable. And I'll just do these and then kind of double check them. All right, is that the number of stories? 5. Okay, so now if we click on this one, it says it's on level 6, on level 5, 4, 3, 2. And so then we can go ahead then and continue to go in the other direction, just using the copy command. And this time it'd just be moving them sideways by 8 feet. And we'll take a look at that in a 3D view. Actually, we're in a 3D view, so let's go and see how we're doing here. So that's a basic concept for building up and orienting the modules. So next I'm going to actually take a little walk through creating the stair and shear wall construction. I'll do that in the next clip.